Okay, assalamu alaikum and a very good morning, everybody. All right, now today we are going to be doing something interesting. Okay, but it's also regarding your SPM English paper 1. All right, now for the past few days, we have covered on paper 1, part 1, paper 1, part 2, and yesterday we covered on part 1, paper 1, part 3. All right, so we have covered that and we actually try and analyze how you can try to tackle the questions, what are the things that you should focus on when it comes to answering short text, when it comes to answering rational clause, and also your reading comprehension. All right. Now, I've also shared with you some tips as well. But before I introduce you the tips, first of all, I would like to welcome everybody to Tavis. All right. Now, my name is Husna. So please address me as Teacher Husna, or you can also address me as Miss Husna. Okay, and as you all know, your English SPM paper code is 1119119. So for paper 1, it's 11119/1. Okay, 11119/1. So today we'll be focusing on still paper 1 because there are a lot of parts. There are 5 parts in paper 1. So today we are going to be looking at part 4 and part 5. All right. So here we go. What are we going to do today? Firstly, we are going to discuss the part 4 and part 5 questions, and I will also try to provide you some tips and strategies how you can tackle matching and information transfer questions. So this is actually in part 4 and part 5. And we are going to also apply skimming and scanning techniques when you start answering matching and information transfer questions. All right, so we are going to apply this in our uh, part 4 and part 5 for today. All right. Now, as I mentioned before, I had shared with you some tips, and we are going to use that tip for today. And what do you think the tip is? Okay, now for part 4, it's all about gap text. Okay, now we are going to apply this tip here. All right, so it's R2KE. Okay, so this is the tip that we are going to do and when we are going to use today. Okay, R2KE. And this is actually used in your rational clause, part 2. So we are going to apply that today as well. Okay, this is essential for you to know. Now, first of all, let's try and think, what is R? What is R? All right, what is 2, what is K, and what is E? Now, R is read. Okay, R is read, and 2 is twice, and K is keyword, and E is, okay, it's a little long. Okay, I'm just going to write it here. Is eliminate. Hi, good morning, Alex. Okay, thank you for being here today. All right, so this is what we are going to apply today, R2KE. So R stands for read, and 2 stands for twice, K stands for keyword, and E stands for eliminate. So we are going to apply this tip today as well. All right, so let's move on to what you need to know for your part 4 gap text. Now, for part 4 gap text, you have 6 blanks. Okay, you will be given 6 blanks on one text. Okay, on one particular text, and there will be 6 blanks. And you got to choose one answer from the answer options given. And please try and spend only 20 minutes. Now, previously I've taught everybody a simple maths, all right? Now, for your paper one, overall, you have to spend 1 hour and 30 minutes, right? So equivalent to 90 minutes. So we are going to spend 20 minutes here. Okay, so 20 minutes here. And you are now left with 70 minutes for the rest of other papers. All right, please note that you are allowed to spend 20 minutes for this paper. Do not exceed more than that because we have other parts to try and attempt. I mean, like for part 1, for part 2, part 3, and you still have part 5 to go. So please allow yourself around 20 minutes to answer this part 4. And please remember that this part actually evaluates your ability to connect ideas. So this is a passage where, or a text where, you need to try and fill in a sentence. Okay, you need to try and fill in a sentence. So you need to try and connect that particular sentence with another sentence before or after it. Okay, so try and connect ideas for this particular part. Okay, we'll move on. So I'm going to introduce you now to the first tip for part 4. So the first tip is that you have to always read the instructions. Always read the instructions. We do not want to miss any information when it comes to attempting the paper or the questions given. No, we do not want that. So please try and read the instructions given. So here I have a sample for you for part 4. So what does it say here? You are going to read an article. So basically, you are going to read an article, and what is it about? So it's already stated here. It's about a student who went for a leadership camp for the first time. So now we know, now we get the idea that this particular student went for a leadership camp for the first time. So it's his first time at a leadership camp. And you can see the next one says 6 sentences have been removed. So I mentioned before, right? You need to fill in sentences. So there will be 6 sentences removed from the article, and you are to choose from A to H. So these are your answer options, A to H, for filling in the gaps for questions 27 to 32. There will be 2 extra sentences which you do not need. So be careful when you choose your answer because there are 2. Yesterday I introduced you to one donkey answer. That's the keyword today. Okay, everybody, that's the keyword today. Donkey answer. All right, donkey answer. So that's your first keyword. I wonder why Miss Husna or Teacher Husna is introducing this keyword today. Okay, I'll tell you later. All right, so there will be 2 extra sentences that you don't need. So these, what I call as donkey answer. Okay, let me just write it down for you. You know what's a donkey, right? Okay, it's kind of like a horse as well. Okay, but it's not a horse. It's a donkey answer. Oh, where's my S? Okay, so donkey answer. That's your first keyword. Okay? Now, moving on to the next tip. Tip number 2, always read the given answer options first. This is always the I would say it cuts short your time. Seriously, this part cut short your time when it comes to trying in answering the question. Always read the answers given, and then only you can find out, oh, A is about this, okay, B is about this, at least you can get an idea about the whole answers, okay, but the whole answers given. And then only you can try and read the whole text by skimming. Okay, you can try by skimming the text. What is skimming? Okay, what is skimming now? Skimming is where you need to read very quickly just to get the gist, or just to get the general idea of the whole text. We do not want to know each and every word. Being a school prefect, I often, we don't want to know the whole thing. We just want to get to know the idea of the whole text. All right, so read this very quickly. What we call it as skimming. Okay, skimming. Now, let's move on to the next tips. Okay, here are your next tips. Okay, now this one says read and highlight the sentences that come before and after the missing paragraphs or the sentences given. So please try and make sure that you always read the before and the after sentences, just to make sure that you are going to pick the right one, the most appropriate one. Because in these sentences, the before and the after, they may be clues. All right, so they may be clues for you when it comes to answering the question. So please try and make sure that you read the before and after sentences. Okay, then moving on to the next one. Please pay special attention to pronouns, synonyms, and subject-verb agreement when choosing your answer. Now, this is crucial because, like in rational clause, you need to only answer one word, right? One word in that particular blank. But for this one, it's one whole sentence. So you need to make sure that you need to know your parts of speech. You need to know your subject verb agreement. I already taught that in lesson 2. In lesson 2. So you need to know pronouns. What are pronouns? Okay, maybe I can just recap a few pronouns. Okay, so firstly, pronouns. So we have many types of pronouns. Okay, the one that I taught in lesson 2. Okay, the one that I taught in lesson 2 is actually personal pronouns. Okay, all right. Now, personal pronoun. Maybe I can just write it here. Okay, we have personal pronouns. Okay, so we have the most basic one, the one that we always use to ourselves or to address someone, all right, to call someone. I, he, she, it, you, they, and we. These are the 7 pronouns that we all know. And these can be called as subjects in your sentences. Why are they called subjects? Because you always use this in the beginning of a sentence. All right? Like, for example, I love cooking. I is the subject. This is a simple sentence. I love cooking. All right? Let me just write that down. I love cooking. This is a simple sentence where you have your subject, you have your verb, and then you have your object, but this is not an object. This is a complement. Okay, or a complement. You try to complete the whole sentence, because if you only have I love, it doesn't complete any idea at all, right? I love what? I love you, or I love him, or what? Right? So that's why this is called a complement. Maybe I can write that spelling: compliment, MENT, complement. Okay. But when it comes to an object, maybe, okay, let me just write it here. I know it's all over the place. Okay. Like for example, Tom. Okay, I'll give a name. Name is also considered a noun, but just trying to you know, differ a little bit. Okay, so Tom loves hockey. Loves. Oh, sorry. Let's try and okay. Let's try and add on another one. Okay, Tom loves playing hockey. Right? So you can see that we have S here. We have S here. Why? Because Tom is singular. Tom is one person. In Malay, we call it as seorang, satu. So it starts with an S, right? Se or singular. It starts with an S. So whatever that is singular, you need to try and add S to the verb here. All right. Now, Tom is a man, or Tom is a boy or a guy. So what is the pronoun for him? What is the pronoun for him? It's he. All right. So it's he. Please make sure you know the gender. Okay, so he loves. Okay. So you can see that hockey is actually an object. Okay. It's actually an object. All right. So he loves playing hockey. All right. So these are some of the personal pronouns. Okay. Now you can also use a pronoun as the object as well in the sentence. Okay. I think I'm going to use a whiteboard. Okay. Now, so here I have a whiteboard. All right. Now, you can also use, okay, you can also use other pronouns. I, he, she, it, we, they, and you. You can also use other pronouns as the subject in the sentence. Like, for example, we had the sentence of, I love him. Him is a pronoun, right? Him is a pronoun, and he is considered an object. Okay, I'm not saying an object being like a thing. Okay, he is not a thing, he is a human being. But when you are referring to something or someone, it's considered an object in the sentence if you put it after the verb. All right, so if let's say for I, now for I, it's me, right? He will be him. She will be her. It will remain it. It will be us. Okay, we don't say I love our. No, I love us. And they is them. And you will remain as you. Okay? So if you want to create a sentence, it can be something as simple as this. I love him. I love it. I love them. I love you. All right? So as simple as this. Okay? So this is another type of pronouns. And we also have other pronouns as well, like that, right? That, this is singular, but for plural, it will be those. Okay? and this is singular. These, okay, please make sure you pronounce correctly. This is pronounced as Z. All right, these, and this is plural. Okay, so that, those, this, and these. Now, how do you differentiate this, that, this, these? How? Okay, it depends on the what? It depends on the place. Okay, it depends on the place of something, of that noun. Okay, don't make me repeat what is a noun. Okay, so it depends on the place. So when you say, okay, let me just draw maybe a ball. All right, so let me just draw a ball. Okay, I'm very bad at drawing. Okay, it looks like an apple as well, but never mind. Okay, this is a ball. So this ball is here, and this is you. Okay, I'm just going to draw a stick man. Okay, so this is you, maybe something fancy with a hat. All right, so with the place that you are at, and with the ball, and maybe um this is the goalpost. Oh, I'm so bad at drawing, I'm so sorry. Okay, so this is the goalpost. All right, so you were kicking the ball, and when you want to use that, right? When you want to use that, so you can see that you are quite far from the ball, right? You are quite far from the ball. Therefore, you can say that ball is over there. All right, you are pointing, or you are showing that the ball is actually over the other side of the field, maybe. All right, but it depends on where you are at. So you can say that ball is over there. But if, let's say, you have two balls, or you have three, okay, so I can just say that you have more than one ball, more than one balls. So let me just draw another one. Okay, I don't know why I'm drawing this way, but never mind. Okay, so this is just to differentiate different colors. Okay, all right, so I have three balls here. So when you have three balls, this is considered plural, more than one, right? Therefore, you got to use those. So this is singular. How do you know it's singular? Because of this one as well. Like I said, singular starts with an S, and you got to use S as well. So is. But for plural, it shall be those balls. Those balls. Is it is? No. All right. We cannot have two S's. No. Those balls are over there. We can only use one S. And this verb, okay, this verb here should be are, because this is plural form for is. All right. So you can see that once this is, if this is singular, therefore you need to have your verb to be. This is verb to be. All right. So your verb to be is. Okay. Remember S there. Singular. And this one is singular. This one is plural. Then this one should be plural as well. Okay. Now let's come back to this and these. Again, with the placement. Okay. So if the Okay, now if the ball is here just beside you, okay, just beside you, all right, just beside you, then only you can use this. So we can say this ball is with me. This ball is with me because it's closer to you. But if you are going to use these, like I said, you need to have few more balls. Okay, you need to have few more balls. Okay, sounds so wrong, right? Okay, so it's going to be, oh, sorry, let me just draw another ball. Okay, so we have three balls here. So we can say that these, okay, these balls are with me. All right. Remember, this is singular, therefore it needs is. And with this one, if this one is plural, then you need to have your verb to be plural as well. So this is also where subject-verb agreement comes in. So you need to have your subject and your verb must agree with one another. We do not want them to collide, or we don't want them to fight with one another. All right, so you want them to agree. Therefore, it shall be this way. So the ball is, or these balls are, all right. So I hope that you got these differences, that and these, those and these as well. All right. Again, this one is those. Okay. So are you all clear on that? I hope that you are. Okay. I'm going to move on to the next part of the lesson. Tip number 6. This is where you need to pick the answer that fits best. Okay. We are not looking for the bestest of the best, but you need to try and make sure that in the sentence itself, with the previous one and the after one, it suits the whole thing. Okay, now we're going to go and have a look at the question. Okay, so let's have a go at the questions together. Okay, first of all, read the options. Okay, so around please spend around a minute, 1 minute. All right, so please spend just 1 minute only to skim the whole thing. Skim is the first step. Once you have read the passage or the text given, then only you are going to apply scanning. So when it comes to scanning, you are specifically looking for an information. Okay, so spend just 1 minute just reading the answer options given. Okay, I hope you have done that. All right, so now we are going to go to this one, the passage itself or the text itself. Okay, now let's have a read at this one, starting from here. Okay, so this is about a memorable trip. Now, anyone here has any memorable trip, maybe with their friends or maybe with their family? Any one of you has one? If you do have, you can type O in the chat box. Type O. Type O in the chat box. The letter O in the chat box. If you have a memorable trip, just type O for me in the room chat. If there are none, then you don't have one. I can assume that you don't have one. Or maybe you're just shy to share with me. Okay? All right, maybe a lot of you are shy bunch. Okay, but never mind. I'm sure that everybody has a memorable trip. Okay? So, maybe I could share one, right? Maybe I could share one with you. My memorable trip with my family, where we actually went to Langkawi. So this is before COVID, right? So this is before COVID, and I believe that it was in 2017. It was in 2017. So I myself am married. So I celebrated my firstborn son's birthday at Langkawi. So it was one of the most memorable ones that I had. And you know, it, it's it's memorable because you got to spend with your parents, you got to spend with your siblings as well, and we don't have time for that. When you grow up, you don't really have that time with one another, and just lucky for that particular year, everybody had the time. So yeah, we went on a flight. It was fun. Yeah. Anyway, so coming back to this story here. Now, how long should you spend for this particular story or this particular passage? How long should you spend? Now, you have to know that this passage can be the least number of words is around 250. Okay? The least number 250, and it can go up to maybe 350, or it can go up to 400. So when it comes to a 400, maybe it's until the next slide. So you can see here, right? So this is more than 300 words. Okay, I can assure you this is more than 300 words. How teacher, how do you know? How do I know? Okay, let me share you one tip. When I was in school, my teacher, my English teacher, taught me a better way to count the number of words. I'm sure that maybe one of your teachers, or a few of your teachers mentioned this before. Okay, so how do I do it? You count starting from here. So this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, something like this. Okay, 17, 18, and 19. So what you do is whichever line that has quite full up to the end, so you times. Okay, so you time. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you can see that this one just need a few more, right? So you can assume that this can go together with this. So this will be line 9. So this one here, maybe it can go together. So we can assume that there are 10 lines here. So right now we can do a multiplication. 19 times 10. This one is around what? Not 190 words. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Okay, you don't need to count again up here because we know that roughly there are around 19 words. So we can start from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this one maybe a 9, right? So we have just now how many? 19, right? So 19. Okay, now this one, I need your help. So 19 times 9. What is that? Can you all tell me? What's the whole amount of this? 19 times 9? 9, 81, right? 9, 1. Is it 171? I hope it's 171. I hope so. Okay, so just now we had 190. So plus 1, 6, and 3. Oh, so there you go. This is, I can say, approximately. Okay, when we say approximately, it's more or less approximately 361 words. Okay, we can roughly know that this is around 361 words. All right, now let's go to the previous slide. Okay, and okay, mind you about the numbers here. Okay, let's just have a go at this. Okay, so it says here, although I obtained good results for my final examination, I was feeling a little down. My father got a job offer in another state, and the whole family has to shift at the end of the year. I loved my current school as I had wonderful friends and teachers here. One of my close friends, Janet, knew how I was feeling. She proposed a picnic at Chinta Waterfalls with our friends. The thought of a picnic with my friends really cheered me up. Janet and I then told the others about the picnic. Our friends Yati, Kumari, and Suling thought it was a fantastic idea. We decided to have it this Saturday. Chinta Waterfalls was about half an hour journey. Okay, half an hour journey. Sorry for this. Okay, half an hour journey by bus from our town. On that day, we met at the bus stop at around 7:30 in the morning. The bus soon arrived and we boarded it to the waterfall. Now, please make sure that you know this timeline here. 7:30. 7:30, it's equal to 7:30. Half, so this is 30. Past, it's after 7. So this is 7:30 a.m. Right? But if let's say this number, this part here says quarter. Okay, now what if it says quarter? Okay, let me just write it down here. Quarter, quarter past 8, quarter past 8. So now we know a quarter, how much? 15, right? Quarter is 15. And it's 8:15. Okay, now a lot of the British, a lot of the British people, they like to use this way of saying the time during the day or during the night. Okay, they love to say this, 7:30 or quarter past 8 or something like this. But if let's say you have quarter to 9, for example. Now, when it comes to quarter to 2, it means that it's closer to 9. Okay, so it's closer to 9. Please make sure you know that quarter to 9. So quarter to 9, so it's closer to 9 o'clock. Therefore, it is 45. So this is 9:45. Okay, it's either AM or PM. I didn't state. So we have quarter to 9 as 9:45. Please make sure you know this. Please, please, please. All right, please you make sure you know this. Okay. Now let's carry on with the reading. Okay, the bus soon arrived and we boarded it to the waterfall. And now you know that this girl just finished her final exam, and the dad has to go elsewhere for this new job offer, and they have to shift to another state, and she was feeling a little down. Therefore, Janet, the friend of the writer, wanted to have fun, a little bit. So this Janet decided to propose and go to a waterfall. So they went to a waterfall with their friends. Who are their friends? So we have Yati, Kumari, and Suling. Okay, so there are 5 of them, or there were 5 of them. How do I know it's were, teacher? How? Because of, you can see, obtained. I was, my father got. This is all past tense. Sudah lepas. Okay, all past tense. All right. And she's just reminiscing. Okay, she's just remembering the good time that she had with the friends, with her closest friends. Okay, now we know that they went to the Chinta waterfalls on a Saturday morning at 7:30, and they went on a bus. Okay, they went on a bus. And what do they see? Okay, the scenery at the waterfall was just as we remembered it. It was simply breathtaking. The birds were chirping, and the sound of the waterfalls was calming to the soul. We happily laid out our mats next to the waterfall and put our picnic bags on it. The water was cooling and refreshing. Now, what I want you to see here, it's not actually the whole story, but I want you also to look at the vocabulary used. Now, you can see that a lot of the vocabulary used are pretty good, right? Pretty good. Why? Because you can see that they don't repeat the same adjectives. Okay, adjectives, they are the uh, describing words, right? Now, you can see here that the words such as fantastic. Okay, maybe I should use another color. Um, let's try and use orange. Okay, now fantastic. You can see the word fantastic. And then what else you can see? Um, what else? Okay, the scenery is remember it was simply breathtaking, right? And here it says wonderful friends. She's describing her friends being wonderful, right? And then the sound of the waterfall, the sound of the waterfall, sorry. Okay, the sound of the waterfall. Okay, the sound of the waterfall was calming to the soul. Calming to the soul. So another word, calming. And we happily, this is adverb. Why is it an adverb? It's to modify this. It's just to cheer up the word laid. And the present tense for this is lay, L-A-Y. Okay, let me just write that down for you. Okay, this word here, the present tense is L-A-Y. Okay, L-A-Y, lay. This is present. Okay, this is present tense. This is just past tense. Okay, now laid out our mat next to the waterfall. Okay, the water was cool and refreshing. So you can see that this part here, they don't use repetitions. When you want to say something nice, you can't just repeat on, okay, I had nice friends and it was a nice idea. It was simply nice. It's kind of plain when you use just the word nice or the word good. So instead of that, you can try and use other vocabulary. So in this case, we are using different adjectives. All right. So now we know that they went to this waterfall. The scenery was really breathtaking. So moving on. At around noon, we began to feel hungry. All of us could not wait to devour. Okay, this is devour. Just another term, you eat. Okay, another term for eat. So to devour the delicious picnic food we prepared. Yati prepared for us chicken rendang, kumari, her marvelous cupcakes, while Suling peach pudding and orange juice. We had a we had a delightful time next to the waterfall. After lunch, we rested for a short while. Some of us dozed off. After that, we gathered our rubbish and put it in a garbage bag. We then explored the forest. My friends and I were so busy exploring, we did not realize that it was getting dark. We packed our things to head home. After a short wait, the bus arrived. So now we know that once they have got to the waterfall, they went to eat, right? They went to eat their food because they were so hungry. They were so famished. Okay, you can also use other words such as, okay, now for this one, you can also use famished. Okay, let me just write it down here. Okay, you can use other word famished or starving, right? You're just, creating another way of saying hungry. All right, so we were starving. So they were, sorry, not we. I mean, they were starving. So devour, instead of just saying eat, you can just say devour, right? Or you can stay, you can also say munch. Okay, up to you. As long as you know what you are doing at that time. Okay, you're munching your delicious food. Okay, so Yati prepared the chicken rundown. Okay, now they had a delightful time. Now another adjective as well. Delightful. And then some even dozed off. Right? Dozed off. Well, what do you think dozed off is? All right, doze off is just another term for sleeping, or just taking a short nap, maybe. All right, so then they gathered rubbish and they went to explore the forest as well. And lastly, I will never forget this outing. So this is a conclusion already. They just want to summarize, or the writer wanted to summarize the journey that they had. So I will never forget this outing as one of the most memorable, right? Because the story is about her most memorable trip. So my most memorable outings with my friends, although I have made new friends at my school, I will always treasure my friendship with my old friends and the memory of the wonderful picnic we had. So you can see that it's a good story, right? It's a good story where you have your introduction and then you have your content and then you have your conclusion. The way she concluded is this way. Please do not conclude. Okay, one tip is that please, if you are going to write your essay later on, although I will teach you also how to write a good essay, please do not end with a thank you. Thank you. Mm, no, please don't do this. All right, please don't do this. You're not giving a speech. No. Okay, so don't write thank you. Okay, so anyway, so now we know that the story is all about the memorable trip, and then they had a lovely time at the Chinta waterfalls. So now let's try and attempt the questions together, shall we? Okay, so let's see. Question 27. So this part starts at question 27. So you will be given six blanks. All right. Now, here, like I said before, always highlight or you can always underline the sentences before and after. All right. After what? After the blanks. Okay. After the blanks here. And you need to fill in a sentence. It's not a word, it's a sentence. So here are the sentences. Okay. No, so we know that she introduced that they were going at Chinta waterfalls. Okay. Then the thought of a picnic with my friends really, really cheered me up. Now, which one would you think is the best that fits here? Is it we walk for an hour to get to the waterfall? Mm, did do you think it actually uh, it's actually about walking an hour to get to the waterfall? Yeah, the whole idea here is introducing, right? Introducing the idea of having a picnic at Chinta waterfall. So therefore this one is considered incorrect. Moving on to B, we then change into our swimming costume and dove excitedly into the water. Hmm, not yet. Not yet. This is just an introduction, right? So, no. Okay, so B is considered incorrect as well. Now, let's go at C. The last time we had gone to the waterfall was a year back. Now she's reminiscing. She is trying to recall her memory of going to the waterfall. So this one, we can say maybe. All right, so maybe. Now, previously, I always like to put a percentage. So if you think this is a higher maybe, right? If you think like how I would think it is, I would score it as 50%. Now, let's go at D. Yati then reminded us that we had better head home. This looks like it fits to the conclusion, right? It fits to the conclusion. So I wouldn't think that it's improper to fill in for the introduction. Now let's go at E. I brought fried noodles. Again, there's nothing to do with food here. It's just an introduction, so no. And F, we arrived at the waterfall by 8:30 in the morning. What? No. We knew, we knew that the story just now, they arrived at what time? 7:30. So, this is another wrong answer. G, Yati decided to explore further into the forest. This one is most likely for the content. Okay, so no. And H, we're now left with this one. There were many interesting plants and insects there. This is this part tells me that it's most suitable for the content as well. And this one should be after they explore the forest or after they explore the whole waterfall, right? Therefore, we cross it out. What are we doing now? We are applying the tip of R2KE. We have eliminated, we are trying to find keywords, okay, although there are no keywords, but the key here is you have to try and see this is just an introduction and we are trying to highlight the before and the after sentences, which is, after the blanks, right? So we are now left with da 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 da, and the answer is, what's the answer? The answer is C. Like I said, this is just introduction, introducing, right? She's trying to remember. Therefore, the answer, the most suitable one or the best fits would be C. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, now question 28. All right, so they had a journey to Chinta Waterfall by bus, and they left their they met at the bus stop around 7:30 in the morning, and the bus soon arrived and we boarded it to the waterfall. So what happened the before and the after? Definitely they have arrived, right? Because they boarded, they boarded around 7:30, and you can see that the next line says the scenery at the waterfall. So they have reached, they have arrived at the waterfall. So which one? So right now we can scrape off C because we got the answer just now. So we can scrape off C. So what do you think happened after they got onto the bus? Which one? Which one? What do you think the answer would be? Is it A? We walked. Maybe. Maybe they walked to the waterfall. Maybe. But is it a higher maybe or lower maybe? So I would put this as maybe around 30%. Maybe, right? After they have reached, then they might walk to the waterfall because they are telling us about the scenery at the waterfall. And then B, we then change into our swimming costume and dove excitedly into the waterfall. they are still they are still in the way, right, in the way of looking at the scenery. So I don't think it's the best one where they change into the swimming costume, you know. This is too early. I mean, like myself, although um it's been long, but when you go to the waterfall, you obviously, you know, go and look at the scenery first, and then you lay your mat, you know, you put your picnic stuff, and then only you change, right? So I don't think this one would be best. Okay, and then Yati reminded us we had better back home. Like I said, this is most suitable for almost to the conclusion part. So we're going to remove this, and this one, you know, is about food. Don't think so. Then we arrive at the waterfall again. No, no, this one. Then Yati decided to explore further into the forest. Hmm. Maybe, maybe so. So is it a higher maybe or lower maybe? Maybe I would put it as 30% too. No, H. Is it? Is it H? There were many interesting plants and insects there. No. So we are now left with A and G. But do you think that this one is? Or is it this one? Or, hmm, is it this one? Is it this one? No, that was tricky, right? That was tricky. Or is it this one? It can also be this one too, actually. Hmm. Right? Because they were at the bus stop at 7:30, and then they arrive at the waterfall. Maybe it's about the timing. You know, they have reached at the waterfall. Maybe. So let's put that as, I don't know, another 30%. So the 10% now is entirely up to you. Which one wins? Or which one? Is it we walk for an hour to get to the waterfall? They didn't walk, right? They didn't walk to the waterfall. They already reached the waterfall by bus. So we are going to scrape this off. Now we were left with F and G. Do you think F is the best or G is the best? Now let's try and match, right? Let's try and match here. So the bus soon arrived and we headed. Then we arrived at the waterfall by 8:30 in the morning, or Yati decided to explore further. Are they talking about the forest after here? They are still looking at the scenery of the waterfall, right? They are still mesmerizing at the waterfall. Therefore, we can assume that the best answer that fits here is the timing. They arrive at 8:30 in the morning. All right. So the answer would be F. Okay, just now was just to trick you. Okay, just to trick you just now. Okay, so the answer is F. So now we know that C is out and F is out in the list. Now we're going to focus on question 29. So a clue is mentioned in the after sentence. Now let's see the after sentence. The water was cool and refreshing. Hmm. So once they got to the waterfall and they laid out their mat next to the waterfall, they put their picnic bags on it. Then they get the feeling of the water, right? They trying to feel it to their skin. The water was cool and refreshing. So which one do you think fits best? Definitely, the answer would be B. Why? Because it's all about touching the water, how the water was was feeling to the skin, right? The water was cool and refreshing. So so they got change, right? They got change and they dove excitedly into the water. And around afternoon, we began to feel hungry, so all of us could not wait to devour the delicious picnic food we prepared. Now, let's go to the next one before we'll take a break. Just a few more for this one here. All right, up until question 32. Okay, so question 30. At around noon, we began to feel hungry. All of us could not wait to devour the delicious food we prepared. So you can see from here, right? From here, the clue says about food. So where can we find about food here? Where can we find about food here? Okay, sorry. Let me just scrape this off. Okay, remove this. Okay, and then this one too. Okay, so we are now left with A, D, E, G, and H. So which one says about food here? Which one? Yes. If you got E as your answer, well done to you. Well done. Okay, it's all about food here. So it's pretty simple. Okay, so it's pretty simple for this one, pretty straightforward as well. Now, let's try and attempt the last two gaps on your own. No, we'll try and do it together as well. Okay, let's see. Look at the clue given. So this is the last two questions for part 4 gap text. Okay, so after lunch, we rested for a short while. Some of us dozed off. After that, we gathered our rubbish and put it in a garbage bag. We then explored the forest. And what do you think happened here? My friends and I were so busy exploring, we did not realize that it was getting dark. So the clue mentioned here, we then explored the forest. So they went for an exploration, right? They wanted to discover the forest. So what do you think happened? Definitely, definitely. Is it interesting plants? Maybe, maybe. Or is it this one? It could be too. Yati decided to explore further into the forest. But don't you think it's a little redundant? It's sort of like it's repeating itself actually, because it says here we then explored the forest and then Yati decided to explore further. It's sort of like the same idea as well, right? So I wouldn't think that G fits best for 31. What do you think? Is it this? No, they are not walking to the waterfalls anymore. So definitely no, because they are going into the forest. So we are now left with D and H. But let's see D. Yati then reminded us that we had better head home. This one is most suitable to the after exploration. All right, because because of the next sentence says, my friends and I were so busy exploring, we did not realize that it was getting dark. So once the the whole situation is getting dark, what do? Obviously, like us, when we know it's dark, we better go home, right? We better go home. So 31 should be, or best be, H. It's best to be H, right? So H says there were many interesting plants and insects there. My friends and I were so busy until they didn't realize that it was getting dark. And then, yes, and D can be here. Okay. Now, please make sure that you can do this in the question paper, okay, by doing all this, H and a D or A, something like that, as your answer. But when it comes to transferring in your answer sheet, please make sure that you write the whole thing because the whole OMR sheet is going to be different. Now, according to the Lembaga Peperiksaan, they are going to give you a new OMR sheet. All right. So what you got to do is you have to write the letter and also the full sentence. Okay, because there will be a column where you can write your letter and you can also write your sentences or your words. Okay, so there you go. We are done with part 4, gap text. So we know now that A and G are all donkey answers. As I mentioned, that's the keyword for today, right? That's the keyword for today. You may be wondering, why Teacher Husna is giving us the keyword? Okay, there's something interesting. I told you in the beginning. I told everybody in the beginning that we are going to be doing something interesting for our, we have something for you. Okay, it's a surprise, but I will tell you later. Okay, I will tell you later. Please make sure you note this. The keyword for today is donkey answer. That's the first keyword. All right, so I will see you back here after our 5-minute break. And we are going to be continuing our next part 5, matching and information transfer. All right, everybody, please make sure you have a nice sip of hot Milo, hot coffee, or if you don't feel like it, then it's okay. So I'll see you back here in 5. Thank you and see you. Okay, so welcome back, everybody. So just now we had the time to go over the part 4 gap text. So we are now going to look at part 5 matching and information transfer. So what you need to know about this part is there will be 8 questions and you got to choose one letter to match 4 questions, 33 to 36. But for the next questions of 37 to 40, you have to extract one word to fill in the blanks. What is extract? Is you just got to, I would say, cut and paste. All right, so you got to cut and paste only one word in the blanks given. And please spend only 10 minutes for this part. Okay, do not try and go over 10 minutes because you are only allowed to sit for this particular paper for 1 hour and 30 minutes. It's not long. It's not long if you are, paying attention, very close attention to your questions. Okay, so please make sure that you bring a watch while you are doing your exams. Okay, now I'm going to share with you some tips for you to know about part 5. Okay, now first of all, this is crucial. Everybody, please read the instructions. Always read the instructions. Whatever paper that you receive, please make sure you read the instructions because it's essential. It's important for you to know what it's asking you about. So firstly, we'll look at question 33 to 40. Okay, this will be the first instruction for your paper. for this part. So we interviewed 6 teenagers about what community service means to them. Read the text below and answer the questions that follow. And you will be given another instructions for questions 33 to 36. So for this part, you are going to identify which paragraph from A to F describes the following experiences of community service. So you got to mark your answers on the separate answer sheet given. And now moving on to questions 37 to 40, you have to try and complete the notes below using the information from the text. Choose no more than one word. So this is why I'm telling everybody it's important, because in the instructions itself, it's stated here for questions 37 to 40, where you have to know that you, you have to write no more than one word. Okay, no more than one word. Although there are so many words from the text given or from the descriptions given, but you only got to choose one word. Okay, so please try and take note on that, only one word. Okay, next tip, read all the questions given. Please make sure you read the questions because there are no answer options for you. Although that, in gap 4, you are given answer options in part 3 or in part 2 or in part 1. All other parts, you'll be given answer options. But for this one, for 33 to 36, yes, there are answer options. But for 37 to 40, none. All right. So next tip, read the text or descriptions mentioned from A to F. So please read this. Okay, please read this. Either you want to skim first, is fine. I don't mind. So you can try and read this very quickly. Okay, skim the whole thing. Okay, that's your second keyword. Okay, skim. Okay, skim. SKIM. That is your second keyword, skim. Now, next one. Please try and identify, or you can also highlight keywords mentioned in the questions and descriptions. In any paper that you receive, you always have to read the instructions, and then you need to read the questions, and then only you can try and highlight the keywords after you have understood the whole questions and also the answer options. Okay, this is crucial for you. What are the keywords are we looking for, teacher? Okay, you can look for synonyms, you can look for examples, you can also look for vocabulary, right? Vocabulary, especially synonyms or antonyms, all right? So these are helpful for you later on. And for tip 5, please make sure that you use contextual clues or to try and make inferences when answering questions. Okay, you can always use whatever clues or whatever hints that is inside the text or inside the descriptions, and you can also make a guess. Okay, in making inferences is trying to make a guess on what are the answer would be. And the last tip to share with you, choose the answers wisely and always recheck them. Always. Don't only do that in part 5, you have to do it for all papers. Not only in English, you have other papers as well. So please always recheck your answers. Okay, it's important. Whether you might have missed it, whether you might have skipped some questions, so it's essential for you. Okay, I already told I think in the first or the second class, if you plan to skip any questions, you can always highlight or you can always make a big circle over the question in the question paper, a big circle. So that's why you know that, okay, I need to answer this question. I haven't answered this question, so I need to do it, because the bestest tip I had given to everybody was to make sure you do the easiest ones first. Okay, you always try and do the easiest ones first to make sure that you don't all go over the time limit. Okay, I already mentioned that every part there should be time limit. So if you do the easiest ones first, if you do take around maybe like 10 seconds or 20 seconds, that is great. Okay, now let's try and do it together. Okay, let's try and do it together. So we'll have a look at the descriptions or the text given here. But first of all, let's get to know what is it about first. So here stated that the community of Taman Manggis is organizing a cleanup day. Here is a list of 6 persons and their allocated duties for the event. Read the text and answer the questions that follow. So this is the headline, Cleanup Day Ad Hoc Committee and Duties. So there are 6 persons. A is Rajan, B is Lee, C is Ali, D is Nadia, E is Ramsing, and F is Mimi. So we now know that there are 4. Okay, there are 4 guys and 2 girls. Right, 4 guys and 2 girls, or 2 men and 4 men and 2 women. Okay, so what are their tasks? What are their tasks, or what are their responsibilities, or what are their duties for the event? Okay, let's see. Now, A is organizing food and drinks for all participants. And what does it include? A packed breakfast of nasi lemak, and a packet of Milo, followed by 2 mineral bottles each. Okay, so this person here is responsible for the food and drinks for the participants, and he is also to ask for sponsorships for nearby business owners for this purpose. So you can see that this person handles food and drinks, sponsorships, and as well as this to get all arrangements settled by 10th October. So arrangements of the whole event by 10th October. So please note that. How do you do it? You try and highlight, or you can try and underline. All right. So let's try and underline. So here, underline food and drinks for all participants. And then he is responsible to ask for sponsorships from the business owners, and he is also responsible for the arrangements to be settled by 10th October. Now let's go at Lee. Lee is responsible to rent grass cutters, to also list out and buy all needed items during the clean-up event. Okay, there is a clean-up event. All right, so he is responsible to list out and buy all the items for the cleanup event. And he is also responsible to rent 2 canopies. For whom? For whom? For the participants for the officiating ceremony. Officiating is the beginning ceremony where they would officiate, or where they would introduce the whole ceremony. Okay, it's the whole beginning. And Lee is also responsible to rent plastic chairs and audio equipment. Okay, so now we know that he's the responsible guy for the items. Okay, grass cutters, the cleanup items, the canopies, and the plastic chairs and audio equipment. Now let's see Ali. Ali is to obtain all permits. So now we can see that he is to get all permits. But from whom? From the police and the town council. So he is in charge to get all the permits from these two authorities, police and town council. Next one, he is also responsible to arrange with the town council for clearance of the rubbish. So to arrange, he is to arrange with town council for clearance. Clearance of what? Clearance of rubbish using lorry and workers. Okay, maybe you could just say rubbish. And D, this is Nadia. Nadia is to get a team from the Red Crescent present for any emergency purposes. So she is in charge to get a team from the Red Crescent present for emergency purposes. Okay, maybe we could highlight this. Okay, present for emergency purposes. Next one, she is also to allocate a canopy for emergency cases on that day. So she is to allocate a canopy for the cases, any emergency cases happen on that day. And she is also to ensure all participants are at their respective areas during that day. So she is responsible to make sure that all participants at their respective areas. And also to make sure that any children present are safe under parental surveillance and not in harm's way. So she is to make sure that children present are safe under parental surveillance. So she is more likely to make sure that everyone is safe and secure. Okay, so she is in the security part, I can say. So Ram Singh, how about Ram Singh here? So Ram Singh is to ensure all lists and funds are in or by 10th October. So he has to make sure lists and funds are in by or before 10th October. And these allocations will be done with treasurer. All right. He is to also oversee all areas of work and allocate team leader. So he is going to look over the work and also the team leader. So he is more likely on the management side. So he is managing the list and the funds. Okay. Another word for funds is money. Okay. I'm sure that everybody knows that when it comes to any event, money is involved. Okay. Money is involved. So he has to make sure there is money in or before. Sorry, the money in by or before 10th October. And he has to work together with the treasurer, and he has to make sure that all work is done. And he is to allocate team leaders as well. And Mimi is to be charge of the invited VIPs and everything concerning them, to ensure invitations are out, protocols are followed, and speeches are in order. So she is in charge of the invited VIPs and whatever that is concerning them, whatever they want. She has to entertain the VIP guests. She has to know what they have to do on that particular day as well. Then to ensure invitations are out, so she has to make sure invitations are out, protocols are followed, and speeches are in order. So she is more likely she is in the management side as well, but she is more like I would say floor manager. I hope that you have heard that before. Floor manager. So she's in charge of the whole process. Okay, she is in charge of that. Now let's move on to the question. So now we know that they are doing this event and all the duties. Okay, let's move on to the questions again. So these are questions 33 to 36. Okay, so we now have these questions here. Now, you can see that there are clues. There are clues given Okay, so first one, sorry. So first one, his duty is to get all the cleaning supplies for the event. And 34, she is in charge of all safety personnel for the day. All meals are organized by this person, and he will ensure all funds are collected by the deadline. So these are the questions for this part. Now, I took the time to highlight or underline some keywords for you. Okay, so here are the keywords. You can see the pronoun his. His is for male. And 34, she. She is in charge. So we now know that this is for the woman or the girl. There is one girl in charge. And all meals are organized by this person. Okay, there is no pronoun, but the keyword here are meals. And this is he. So this is a pronoun. So we now know that this is done by a male committee member. So what can we see from here? His duty is to get all the cleaning supplies for the event. Now, who is in charge for the cleaning supplies? Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Now, who is in charge for the cleaning supplies? Now, we only need to identify male names. Okay, male names. So now we have Rajan, we have Lee, we have Ali, and we also have Ram Singh. So who is in charge for the cleaning supplies? Definitely, it's Lee. Where, teacher? Here. Okay, we already highlighted that. The cleanup event. So he is in charge to list out and buy all items. So he is definitely in charge of the cleaning supplies. So we now know that he is in charge. So we can say this is paragraph. This is paragraph B. Okay, moving on to 34. She is in charge of all safety personnel. So she is in charge for the safety. So she. So now we got to identify a girl. Okay, let's maybe color this in pink. So here we have one girl, one woman, Nadia and Mimi. Nadia and Mimi. So who is in charge of the safety? Safety personnel. Safety. Who? Who is it? Hmm? Who do you think it is? Okay, safety personnels. So safety personnels. All right. Who is in charge? Definitely Nadia. Nadia is in charge of the safety. Okay, I already told you the clue just now, right? She's in charge of the safety and security, right? I said that before. So she is in charge for the safety. So we can say that D is, oh sorry, D is the paragraph. Okay, paragraph D. Now 35, all meals are organized by this person. So the keyword here are about meals. So it's about food. Makan makan. So makan makan or food. Who? Remember, we highlighted and you can see it straight away. You know, your eyes will be looking at the word nasi lemak because it's still morning. All right. So the word nasi lemak stated here. So this man or this boy or this guy is in charge for the food. So we can say that Rajan is A. So this is A. Okay. Now, what else do we have? He will ensure funds are collected by the deadline. So he, so again, another man or another guy. Who would it be in charge of money, money, money? Where is he? So we now know that Rajan is in charge of food, Lee is for the cleanup, and Ali, the permits from the police, and to arrange clearance of rubbish. We're now left with Ram Singh. So he is in charge of money by the deadline, because the deadline is by or before 10th October. So this is the deadline here. So so now we know that Ram Singh is in charge. So Ram Singh is E. All right. So these are your answers. B, D, A, and E. All right. So if you have done that, well done. A very good job. So you can tap yourself on the shoulder, or you can give yourself a clap if you have got all this correct. Okay. Now, let's try and move on to our last questions. Last one. Okay, last one. It's not last one. I don't mean like last one. Okay, the last few more. Okay, last few more. Okay, so here I have for you again, same thing. Okay, so same thing. Okay, what other questions? All right. So questions 37 to 40, you are to complete the notes using the information given, and choose, you got to choose no more than one word. So there's only one word for you to fill in here. All right, for you to fill in here, 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 and here. Only one word, and make sure that it really fits the whole sentence or the whole phrase. Now let's see. Okay, so here I took the time and try and find out the clues, trying to highlight the keywords as well. So here, let's take a look. Question 37, it's asking you about some committee. Some committee, right? The committee has been set up to organize the event. And you can see the clue here. This is an article. Okay, I hope you know about your parts of speech. Okay, so this is an article N. So N is an article where you can only use for consonants. Is it? No, you can only use it for vowels. All right, so you can only use it for vowels, like A, or the sound, or the sound of vowels. A, E, I, O, U. All right, so A, E, I, O, U, or the sound of the vowels, A, E, I, O, U. Why am I saying the sound? Because, like the word university, right? Like the word university and the word umbrella, right? Although the letter here is U, okay, both are beginning with a U, but you have to know how it's pronounced like. So this one's pronounced as university. This one is pronounced as umbrella. So this one sounded more like a Y, right? U, Y, U. This one is U. U, I would say double O lah. U. Okay. So although this one is starting or it begins with a U, but um, this is not meant for the article of N. We have to use the article of a university. Okay, so a university. So this one, yes, you can use and umbrella. All right. So anyway, coming back to this. So this one says N. So we got to identify any word that begins with the vowels or the sound of a vowel. Okay, there's one more. Maybe I could introduce one more, like this one. Honest. Do we use a honest or do we use an honest? Remember the sound. We don't say ho. We don't say ho. We don't say honest. No. H is silent. So we say honest. Or same goes with the word hour. We don't say a hour. Hour. Like in Malay word, we have hour. Right? No, we don't say that. We say an hour. So H is silent. So an hour. All right. So that's just a word for you to know. Okay. So I'll come back to this N. Okay, now we got to identify which word begins with a vowel sound or begins with the vowel itself. So which one? So let's see from here. Okay, this is cleaner for you to see. Now, sorry, the keyword. The keyword that you got to look at is this one, committee. So let's try and find what committee. Okay. I'm sure your eyes will not read the whole thing. Okay, I will focus on the beginning. So here, it says cleanup day, ad hoc committee. Now, does it begin with a vowel? Yes. So this is the word that you are looking for. So this is the word for you. Okay, so this is, sorry, this is ad hoc. Ad dash hoc. An ad hoc committee has been set up to organize an event. Okay, if you got that, well done. Now, next one, special something and town council permits are needed for the day. Now, the clue here is permits. Now, let's see which paragraph says, all right, so which paragraph says anything about permits? So which one? Now, we now know that this one says about, sorry, now this one says about food. This one says about the cleaning. This one says about the safety and security. Safety and security. This one is about money. This one is all about the, sorry, I would say floor management. So this one left. So what is Ali doing? Ali is to obtain all permits. Ta-da! So now we know that he is in charge of permits. Okay, so permit. So the answer for this one is special what? Okay, we now know that it's about permit, but what is it? Special what? So town council is an authority. So there is also another authority, right? Another authority. So permits from the police. From the police and the town council. So we now know that this is the answer. Special police. Is it just police? Yeah, just keep it that way. As simple as that. Right? Keep it simple and sweet. Keep it simple and sweet. Kiss. Okay, so keep it simple and sweet. Okay, so because it's looking for only one word. All right, so special police. And okay, if you got that correct, well done. Bravo. Now, next one. There will be a VIP guest, something, the ceremony. So we are now going to look at the keyword VIP guest. But what do you think he or she will be doing at the ceremony? Now let's take a look at the passage again, or the paragraph again. Sorry, the description. Sorry. Okay, so now we can see who is doing what, right? We now know that Mimi is in charge for the VIP guests. Okay, so Mimi is in charge of the VIP guest and everything concerning them. She has to make sure that invitations are out, protocols are followed, and speeches are in order. Now, what do you think the VIP guests will do? Now, usually when you have an event and when you invite some VIPs to your event, right? Maybe a school event, and you call out, someone as VIP. So what would they do? Would they just be sitting down and watch over the whole ceremony? No, they have a purpose actually. They are to officiate. They are to officiate. Now, where can we find the word officiate? So here, it's actually at Lee, paragraph B. Officiating the ceremony. I introduced this word before. Officiating is more like, the introducing part of the whole ceremony. So most of the ceremony that we can see, the VIPs are officiating, are introducing the whole ceremony. So we can say that they are officiating. Okay, they are officiating. This word fits the best for that particular sentence. All right, so we can write here, there will be a VIP guest officiating. Officiating the ceremony. All right, now move on to the last question. So this is our very last question for paper one. Yay, finally. Okay, now let's see. Let's see, what do we have? Members from the Red Crescent will be on standby throughout the day in case of something. Now, you can see the highlighted clue here is Red Crescent. Red Crescent. So members from the Red Crescent will be on standby throughout the day in case of what? So it's looking for a what here. So it's looking for a noun. It's looking for a noun. What are nouns? What are nouns? Okay, what are nouns? They are your I would say person, animal, thing, or object, or places, or idea. Okay, make sure you know what is a noun, because that is your third keyword for today. Third keyword for today, everybody. Third keyword for today is a noun. All right. So members of the Red Crescent will be on standby. So what are they doing? The Red Crescent, we know that Red Crescent is in Malay is bulan sabit merah, right? Bulan sabit merah. And what do they do? What do they do? They look after patients, right? They look after patients. But for what cases? Oops. For what cases? I already told you the clue. For what cases? So let's see. Who is in charge for safety and security? It's Nadia, right? So you can see the clue given here, Red Crescent, right? So what would they do? On what cases? For any emergency purposes. For emergency cases. So now we have a word that fits best in the blank. Emergency. Right? Emergency cases. How do I know? How do I know, teacher? How can I know? How can I know? Here, of the red crescent, right? Because of this word red crescent, and also in case. Case is also another keyword for this. So now we can all complete this last question. It is emergency. Okay, it is emergency. Okay, everybody, if you got this all correct, excellent, excellente, excellent. Okay, so now we know that it's these are the words, and you can see it's all only one word, one word. Okay, everybody, please try not to go over the word limit because the instruction says one word only. So if you got all correct, wonderful, everyone, wonderful. Okay, before we close for today, okay, we end our session for today, just a few quick tips for you. So always remember to read thoroughly and recheck your answers. When I say read thoroughly, make sure you read the instructions. Make sure you read the instructions. Make sure you read the questions. Make sure you read the answer options as well. And then only you can apply the rule of, or the tip, I'm sorry, the tip that I mentioned is R2KE. Read twice, keyword, eliminate. All right, read twice, keyword, eliminate. Why do we have to read twice, teacher? First reading is skimming. First reading is skimming. The second reading is scan. And then you actually scan after you look for keywords, and then you eliminate any wrong answers or any incorrect ones or any inappropriate one. Then only you can make the right shot. You cannot just guess any answer because you're gonna lose your mark. All right. So if you're not gonna take the right shot, then you're going to lose your marks. All right. So please always don't guess for the answers. And you can always start with the easiest ones first because it cuts shorts your time. Okay. It cuts shorts your time. But make sure you attempt on rechecking the answers again. And lastly, I would say just take a chill pill, everybody. Just take a chill pill, everybody. So it's fine if you make mistakes because it's a part of a learning process. So chill for a while if, let's say, the questions are very hard, because we all do not know how the questions will be for your SPM this year. You know, the Lembaga Peperiksaan says that there will be few changes. So whatever I'm doing for paper one, okay, paper one, for all the parts, these are just for you to know how to tackle the questions. You know, I'm doing a very comprehensive way where you can try and see, okay, now for this question, I have to look at this keyword, or I have to try and use this way, this technique to apply for my reading, to apply for my answering technique as well. So you have to make sure that you know and master those techniques. Now, lastly, do you have any questions for me? Do you have any questions for me before we make a move? And I already told you there are 3 keywords, right? Why? Okay, there's a short quiz. Okay, there's a short quiz. I'm only going to ask you right now. If you can't answer, or if you are a shy bunch, then it's fine. Okay, now first keyword. What was it? What was the first keyword? What was the first keyword? Okay, thank you, Denise. Okay, what was the first keyword? It has got to do something with an animal. An animal? What has it got to do with English? Okay, so the first keyword was, okay, let me just type it out. Okay, this is concerning with wrong answers or incorrect answers, or some I would call as these donkey answers. Okay, some options they can be called as donkey answers. Okay, donkey, donkey is a little silly. I don't know, for me donkey is a little silly, except for the one that is in Winnie the Pooh. That is very cute donkey. Okay, so that is your first keyword. Second keyword. Second, yeah, Eeyore. Yeah, he's cute. He's cute. So second keyword. Second keyword is skimming. Now, what is skimming? Everybody, what is skimming? What is skimming? I keep on repeating in every session, right? In every session. What was skimming? Oh, no. It's nothing to do with like lies. It is nothing to do with that. Skimming, yeah, skimming. What is skimming? What is it? Who can tell me what is skimming? It's nothing to do with skim milk. Nothing to do with lies or go through. Yeah, something as close as go through. But how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it? Go through how? Go through? Go through quickly. All right. So you go through, sorry, you go through quickly. All right. So you go through quickly when it comes to skimming. Okay. Last but not least, what was our third keyword? What was our last keyword? What was it? Who can remember? It was towards the last. It was towards the last. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Denise. Okay. So it was a noun. So can you tell me at least two kinds of nouns? At least two kinds of nouns. At least two. What kinds of nouns? At least two. Okay, okay, you got me there, common and proper. Okay, those are the types of pronouns. Okay, sorry, types of nouns. Types of nouns, yes, common and proper. But can you give me just a brief detail? What is a noun? A brief detail. What is a noun? What are nouns? Just two things about nouns. Oops, there's a clue there. I'll give you one. One is thing. What's the other one? What's the other one? People. Okay, people, yes, this is a plural form. But I would say best fits is person. And we have other kinds as well. So we have for animal, we have animal, we have for idea, we have for place as well. These are all noun. Like for example, if you say KLCC, KLCC is a place and it is a noun. If you say a donkey, donkey is an animal, so donkey is a noun. And if you say person, like you yourself, you are students. You are students, so you are called a noun too. All right, everybody, that's all for today. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you so much for having me for this first part of your paper for English. All right, so thank you again. Have a nice day. Assalamualaikum and stay safe, everybody. Bye bye.